back to this.
I don't feel like they look at me as a suspect.
So you don't feel like a suspect, right? More of a witness? Do you feel like a witness more?
Yeah,
Or just nothing at all?
I feel like more of a witness.
A pickup truck, but a sedan. They put Summer in there.
So Fred and Ziggy. So if you can answer separately, start with Ziggy and then Fred, whoever first. What do you guys right now in time? What's your beliefs that happened to Summer? Answer separate, please.
Yeah. Separate, please. I definitely. Oh gosh. I think she was trafficked and sold. I don't know for sure. I mean, I do know she was. I don't know. I don't know if I want to answer it because I had to mention somebody. You know what I mean? I do think she was handed off, and I do think it was something to do with trafficking. And
I didn't have that to do with it.
hopefully, she's still alive. I mean, at least if it's something like that, there's hope that she's alive, I guess. It's horrible, but... What do you think, Fred?
I believe she's trafficked.
Yeah.
At first, I felt like, until the Knoxville stuff come up and stuff, I figured it was accidental. That was my heart at first. That's just what I figured happened. And then,
me too.
when I get to Knoxville, and then that boy gives details of stuff. Then, I've heard clips and stuff where he's recorded at certain motels of a little girl talking and stuff, and talking about Dawn, and talking a lot of stuff, and they give me a lot of hope that she was still alive.
Yeah. But that would have been in...
That was in...
it would have been last year, early last year.
It was 2023.
Oh, 2024.
Oh, yeah, 2024.
So, a year and a half ago, about March of last year.
March of 2024.
Yep. And hopefully that guy was not bullshitting, but...
Read the clips that he was playing of...
Bullshitting, but...
Read the clips that he was playing of that little girl talking about Dawn and stuff, coming seeing her every 2 weeks and stuff, and... I mean, I don't want to get into all of it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I started talking with Fred Hill again. Now, like I said, I had spoken with Fred Hill while he was in jail. It was a recorded phone call. We both knew it. He answered all my questions. I have never suspected Fred Hill of being a part of this. What I do suspect, I do have suspects, though, obviously. And anyway, so I started talking to Ziggy again a few weeks ago, and I was like, I probably won't be doing a lot more. I'm going to trust you guys with the last several readings that I did not put up online. Just because it's the most horrible. If you think these other ones are horrible, what Summer Wells went through, if my visions are correct, was even worse. So anyway, I never...
I think Ziggy didn't say the name is because she's just trying to be respectful of my channel. I think she means... say it, Ziggy. You think she was handed off to Andy, right?
Yeah, I think she was definitely handed off to Andy. I mean, there's got to be a reason that he was on the road. I mean...
I wasn't there on the 15th.
That's my opinion.
But, okay.
I was not there on the 15th.
Again, so it's just we have a pretty good idea the area, which me and Mark on a map. Me and Fred have been going over Donna Seraphine's readings, like I said, guys, right here. And we printed them out. And we put some, Fred and Donna are trying to put some clues together. I'm not joking. We talked on the phone for 3 hours yesterday, all three of us. And we're trying to put together some clues. And we're pretty certain that there's the area which possibly... There's something about the railroad track, that mansion where they used to shoot horror movies could be really important. It's so creepy, all around there. All around there. And by the way, speaking of Donna Serafina, we've really been doing our homework. Okay? Fred has been going over the, and I have too, but more so it's for him, obviously, because he's going to know, certain locations and stuff, and any, thing that might sound familiar or... so this is all a transcript of, Donna Serafina's readings, several of them, ones that haven't even been published yet. And so Fred is going over them, and there's certain details I don't think's been published because some of it's just too graphic. And she's asking Fred to go through it and find, point out anything in it that is, that he recognizes or whatever. Rings a bell.
You knew that it was going to be turned into the TBI.
Yeah.
Because really what he was wanting, he was more interested in the reward money at that time. I told him, I just let on because he got talking about that, are they any kind of reward? And I'm like, feed me some bullshit on the reward to get him to keep talking and stuff and keep bringing the information to me. Because if he actually knew she was there and stuff, he needed to go down with them just like the rest of them.
Do you think that you're cleared in Summer's case?
I don't feel like they look at me as a suspect.
So you don't feel like a suspect, so, right? More of a witness? Do you feel like a witness more?
Yeah.
Or just nothing at all?
I feel like more of a witness than anything.
Yeah.
Could barely function. I was so traumatized by what I saw. So not to like be a victim about it, but I couldn't even ever listen to those readings again. I couldn't even look at them. I was so traumatized and scared. It was like I blocked out even looking. And it was only when I saw such sincere efforts from Ziggy and from Fred Hill as to wanting to get justice for Summer.
I'm not here to tell you that Fred and Ziggy don't want justice for little Summer Wells, right? I'm not here to tell you that. But there's ways that this information needs to be handled, and it needs to be handled in a vacuum, first of all. Like, she has literally dropped Fred in the grease, right? Dropped Fred right in the grease. He don't even want the ideal, even a sliver of an ideal that this information has gotten to the police. I think that he's probably safe. That's the atrocious part of all this. I think that the gentleman that they're describing or have identified, I think he's safe, because I don't think anyone's going to run to the police and tell them nothing. This is all for YouTube entertainment. But
And he said, if it's that guy, this one specific hunchback guy, and he says his name, he's dead, just like Roy Cotton.
Because she believes Fred's innocent. I know Fred's innocent. Fred was kind of just made the scapegoat in this. He never was ever the focus in this case, ever. He's just been made a thing on YouTube. So he's actually he's actually a witness, and I mean, I know people don't like to believe that, but
It is what it is, and I done signed to testify when it does go to trial, and it won't be in Hawkins County when it does go to trial.
I wonder why that is.
What, going to Hawkins County?
Why it's not going to go to Hawkins County?
Because it bleeds over into too many other counties, I'd say. Move it back.
Okay.
So when I talk about somebody leaving their driveway, Fred recognized right away, well, that person went up into the holler. Okay. So then I described a man who I saw in my visions as being present when the handoff took place, which I also described, the handoff, okay? The interesting thing was that this information had never been released to the public, and Fred recognized right away who I was talking about and where that location would be. Him, well, here's a couple things that aren't out in public. Maybe you might recognize them. And I said she turned the opposite way that you would expect when she left her driveway. And he says, oh, well, then she went up into the holler. And then I said the barn where I saw the handoff take place, which was not a red truck, because I saw her put in a trunk car. That handoff, there was a man who, he had one of those hunchbacks. Oh, and I don't know if I said man or person. He had one of those hunchbacks. And Fred identified the property right away. He knew exactly where I was talking about. He actually even knew the address. He knew who owned it and everything.
I don't feel like they look at me as a suspect.
So you don't feel like a suspect, so, right? More of a witness? Do you feel like a witness more?
Yeah.
Or just nothing at all?
I feel like more of a witness than anything.
Yeah.
He's actually a witness, and
It is what it is, and I done signed to testify when it does go to trial.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. I sold them weed. I knew who I was.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you who had your daughter or where she was. Because I would like to end this right now and walk the fuck away from it.